The Roborock Q Revo Pro, a revamped version of the original Q Revo, known for its impressive suction power, excellent cleaning quality, and low noise level. Engineers have kept and further enhanced these features. For example, the suction power has been increased to 7,000 pascals, up from 5.5. But that's not all. There are other improvements as well. The robot now features a retractable mop that can clean along the wall. The app has more functions, including a re-cleaning option when the mops are heavily soiled. The station has learned not just to blow warm air on the mops, but also to wash them in hot water. There are other improvements we'll dive into in our detailed review. Upon unboxing, we have a large docking station with a dust bag and reservoirs, the robot vacuum itself, white with a black lid and reactive tech branding, a removable ramp for easy docking, a dust bag, the only spare accessory included, and a pair of cleaning discs with mops. These need to be installed on the robot. For those who prefer not to read, there's a schematic guide and a full manual. Notable specifications include the suction power, which has been boosted to 7,000 pascals. Considering the robot's features, the price seems reasonable. The design concept remains the same, a circular body 3.8 inches high, with a lighter tower. By the way, it has a pressure sensor. It also has a semicircular bumper and a single side edge. The body is matte, which hides dust well. Pet hair, depending on the pet's fur color, is another story. In front of the LiDAR, we have two buttons, one for cleaning and the other to return home. Other control options are available via the mobile app. The dustbin is located under the lid. It's about 1.5 times smaller now, just 11.2 ounces. Maybe that's why the manufacturer focused on power. It has single-layer filtration with on the left. We have a lid for emptying the dustbin, and on the right, a valve for air intake. Nothing new here. The container with the filter can be washed under running water, but make sure to thoroughly dry it afterward. The charging terminal has a port for refilling the robot's water tank, which is hidden under the body. There's also a sensor for finding the base and a parking roller on the left side. On the side, there's a hatch for emptying the dustbin, and to the right, we have the exhaust vents. On the bumper, we find two sensors. The side sensor measures the distance to the wall, and the front sensor, which is a structured light camera, detects objects on the floor. Now, let's take a look at what's under the robot's belly. Standard wheels and a rotating roller. 4 surface sensors to prevent it from falling off stairs. An old 3-blade brush with extended bristles. A carpet detection sensor. A floating work unit. A frame with pads to catch stray hairs plus carpet combs. A signature red roller with quick release ends. And the first new feature, the bionic arm. When moving along the wall, the vacuum extends a mop to clean the area by the baseboard. The mops are made of coarse fibers, just like the old Q Revo. Will they handle ketchup this time? The main mystery of the test, that the height of the mops has been increased by 0.12 inches. Now it's 0.4 inches, meaning carpets have a better chance of staying dry. The station's specifications are displayed on the screen. Compared to the regular Q Revo, the reservoirs have been reduced by 20%, and the height of the body has been lowered by 1.6 inches. Additionally, a separate mini station has been developed for the Q Revo Pro, which connects to both water and sewer systems. However, we received the full-size version. The layout remains familiar: the dock below, the bag above, and the reservoirs. The dock is well thought out. The ramp, tray, and even the mesh tray can be removed and washed in the sink. Much easier than dealing with everything on the floor. The docking station works like a standard one. The robot backs into ribbed tracks, and through friction, the pads are cleaned. The station then draws the dirty water into a separate tank. Also, the dock has a port for refilling the robot's water tank, charging terminals, and waste disposal vents. Behind the glossy panel, there's a compartment for the waste. The bag is sturdy with a plastic strap. If you're into reusing disposable items, this is a solid win. The containers are visually identical. You can distinguish them by the dark and light droplets on the lid. The dirty water tank has a large float for filling control. The clean water tank has a small float and a tube for liquid intake. Both tanks fit directly into the dock. There's no protective cover or cap, so it won't be easy to wipe the dust off the station. The back panel has a socket for the power cord and a cable channel, which is a nice touch. We've covered the design, now let's talk about control. First, we install the Roborock app. Press the plus button, scan the QR code under the lid, and enter your 2.4 GHz network details. Connecting the vacuum was quick and easy, completed in just 2 minutes on the first try. After mapping the space, a wide range of options appeared. You can check the full list on screen in the pause frame. power, mopping intensity, number of passes, and cleaning paths can all be adjusted for each room individually. There's also a smooth water flow adjustment. Additionally, for wet cleaning, you can set the zigzag density. Standard zigzags, dense zigzags, and slow zigzags. The difference between these modes is clearly visible in the screenshots, but if you're not in the mood for tweaking all the settings, there's a Smart Plan feature. In this mode, the robot will automatically determine cleaning parameters based on the room's dirtiness. In the advanced settings, you can choose how it behaves on carpets. You can set it to avoid carpets during wet cleaning, ignore carpets, lift the mops, or clean over the carpet without mopping. What's fun is that they created video illustrations for each mode, although they forgot to include how the mop works. In the same menu, you can increase the power on carpets and set whether to clean carpets before or after wet cleaning. Other interesting features: automatic re-cleaning based on the water contamination level, thorough cleaning in pet areas, cleaning according to laminate floor direction, and adjusting the sensitivity of the front sensor. You can also customize various settings for the docking station, the frequency of mopping cycles, from 10 to 25 minutes or after each room, water usage, and temperature. Specific parameters aren't listed, only general mode descriptions. There's also the option to adjust the waste disposal frequency, though it's unclear how they differ. And there are garbage reset modes that adjust the station's suction power. Drying duration ranges from 2 to 4 hours. Overall, there's a huge range of customization options. Now let's move on to the tests. The robot navigates around objects on the floor with varying success. With good lighting, it avoids a network filter with the cord rolled up, notices and bypasses sneakers and socks with a light touch, perfectly avoids a white pot, and nudges a black one but continues cleaning. The Q Revo Pro treats the QRevoPro scales like an obstacle to overcome. It misses small surprises, so a sneaky cat could easily get revenge for a bath. The robot also encountered some issues with a phone charger, which it dragged around the room until it got stuck on the brush. The structured light camera is the same as the regular Q Revo, and the results of obstacle avoidance confirm that. The navigation in the room is solid. First, the robot goes around the perimeter of the room, including curtains. It enters the LiDAR's field of view. The distance from the baseboard is measured precisely. No issues with the side sensor nor the surface sensors. It handles dark carpets well. The movement trajectory remains consistent. The robot noticed the table legs from a distance, slowed down, and carefully cleaned each one. The only problem? The drying rack. The Q Revo Pro repeatedly tries to climb it like a regular lighter-based vacuum. The crossbars between the legs are too low, and the front sensor doesn't trigger. The robot doesn't climb stairs. You can safely take it to multi-story homes. It handles thresholds well, easily crossing 0.6 inches like an Olympic runner and 0.8 inches, though a bit clumsily. Overall, it performs well in the apartment, moving without unnecessary detours or slowdowns. Check out the beautiful lines in the app. Real calligraphy. In maximum cleaning mode, the battery lasted for 110 minutes, during which it covered 1,324 square feet. This is 13% lower than the previous model. I suspect this drop is due to the retractable mop. After cleaning, the dustbin was filled with hair and crumbs. I even found cotton swabs in there. By the way, the self-cleaning station handled it all easily, pulling everything into the bag along with the hair. The roller after cleaning looks brand new, though the ends will need some cleaning. Regarding noise, I had high expectations, since the old Q Revo maxed out at 58 decibels. The professional version didn't disappoint. The peak noise level was 59 decibels. Is that measurement error or increased power? Let's find out. During testing, the robot went through the slot stand in cross and longitudinal zigzags, both diagonally and in all directions. Here's what it showed in the end. 0.08 inches wide strips were almost completely cleaned. 0.16 inches, also thoroughly cleaned. Few 0.24 inches strips cleaned up. 0.31 inches were also cleaned in 2 areas. However, a gap of 0.4 inches remained untouched. The nominal suction power increased by 1,500 pascals, but the actual power of the vacuum decreased. We saw a similar situation with Roborock S7, S7 Max Fluff, and S7 Max Ultra, each being weaker than the previous one. The more complex the design, the less motor power. The manufacturer aims to maintain high reliability in its vacuums. Let's check how the decrease in power affects cleaning performance. The movement algorithm is classic. The robot makes 2 passes along the walls and 2 cross zigzags. On the first pass, it picks up most of the debris on the laminate. It pushes dust to the peripheral areas but picks it up on the second pass. The result is good but not perfect. Along the walls, it's almost spotless, but on some spots, small debris is still visible. The corner cleaning is standard. On 2 attempts, it sweeps everything except for a 1-inch zone. This is an average result for most vacuums. The high suction power allows the Q Revo Pro to collect sand on laminate effectively. After a couple of passes, it cleaned almost everything, including the joints. I ran a cloth along the stand. It came out cleaned. Sand was left only in the corners and along the walls. On carpet, the cleaning quality is similar to the laminate and even slightly better since there's less scattering of debris. After 2 passes, the Pro cleaned the center of the area thoroughly, but in the peripheral zones, the side brush didn't do as much, leaving trails of dirt. Surprisingly, the fluffy carpet cleaner worked really well, collecting 83% of debris from the surface. By robot standards, that's a solid 4. Although on closer inspection, it's clear how far from perfection this result is. In the end, the Q Revo Pro falls short compared to its predecessor in cleaning laminate and carpet, but it catches up on medium carpets. After testing, the roller's working area is clean, but one of the ends is clogged with hair. Periodic maintenance is inevitable, but at least you won't have to empty the dustbin. The robot handles that on its own. With maximum settings, waste disposal takes 20 seconds, and the noise level reaches 71 decibels. For testing, I loaded 3.5 ounces of sunflower seeds, sand, litter, and grains into the dustbin. The station handled all of them with 99 to 100% efficiency. Reducing the dustbin volume improved the waste disposal quality. Even heavy debris is no longer a problem, not to mention pet hair if you have a shedding pet. You don't have to worry about it. Everything will be in the bag. But now, the most interesting part. Did they improve the wet cleaning quality? Before starting, the robot wets the mops at the station and immediately begins wiping coffee stains. On the first pass, it spread the stain, but on the second pass, it cleaned it completely. Along the walls, it missed a spot, so I had to run it again, but the result was impressive. There was no blind spot along the baseboard, it cleaned it thoroughly. In the corners, there's still a 1-inch gap, just like during dry cleaning. So far, this is the best result we've seen in our testing. Now, let's see if the automatic re-cleaning function works. After the first pass, the robot partially cleaned the middle of the stand and went back to rinse the mops. The re-cleaning function worked, and the Q Revo Pro went back to clean the stand again. The middle area was cleaned up, but there are still stains on the edges. On the second try, the re-cleaning didn't activate. I had to start another cycle manually. After the third and fourth passes, the robot handled the job, with minor imperfections along the walls, which it cleared on the fifth and sixth passes. Now onto the extreme test. The robot scattered the dirt around the stand during its first pass, but at least it collected the soil clumps. The station considered the contamination level high and triggered the re-cleaning. On the second pass, it spread the dirt more evenly and left high-quality tire tracks. After that, the robot went over the stand 5 more times with intermediate self-cleaning and cleaned it all up, including the areas along the walls. The coarse fibers on the mops didn't absorb the dirt very well, but in the end, they handled the task. But did the Q Revo Pro manage to clean the ketchup stains? Its predecessor couldn't handle it. After the first pass, the robot removed the texture, partially wiped it, and turned one big stain into several small ones. On the second pass, it cleaned some of the stains. White gaps appeared on the stand. With each subsequent pass, the vacuum methodically improved the result, and eventually, after 6 passes with 5 intermediate self-cleanings, it wiped the ketchup off. It was an impressive result, although not a record. Wet cleaning on the Q Revo Pro has definitely improved compared to its predecessor, especially considering the results along the walls. At the end of the cleaning, the vacuum rinses the mops at the station. The duration, water usage, and noise level depend on the chosen mode. Interestingly, with each successive mode, not only does water usage increase, but the mops are wrung out more thoroughly. After a deep rinse, only 0.68 fluid ounces of water remained on them. This is similar to other models of this type. The temperature in the tray area after rinsing with hot water was measured at 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. While the station may heat the water to the claimed 140 degrees Fahrenheit, it's hard to confirm this precisely. Now let's check the rinsing quality. After the coffee stain test, the mops were spotted with a grayish-beige color. After rinsing at the station, the mops looked clean, but under running water, I was able to rinse out a bit more beige liquid. After 3 cycles and 3 rinses at the station, traces of juice were still visible on the mops. The ends of the fabric turned darker. Rinsing under the faucet with detergent proved more effective. Comparing the mops before and after cleaning shows the difference. After the dirt test, the mops became dark, with the fibers absorbing dirt, and the edges became clumped together. The robot rinsed the mops several times at the station, significantly improving their condition. However, it's still far from perfect. Take a look at how much dirt I managed to wring out by hand. The water was brown. Ketchup stained the mops a brown color with bright orange specks. After self-cleaning, the staining intensity decreased. Now the mops are evenly reddish. Hand washing with soap achieved better results, but it still didn't get them completely clean. At this point, you'd need a washing machine. To sum up, we can say that rinsing with hot water still doesn't have a significant impact on the final result. The mop rinsing efficiency on the Pro version is even lower than the regular Q Revo, but the station itself also needs cleaning. There's a lot of dirt and soil in the dock. However, under the tray, everything stays clean, so it won't be too difficult to handle. Simply remove the tray and ramp, rinse them in the sink, and put them back in place. The station dries the mops with warm air and the noise level is low, reaching just 36 decibels. The temperature in the drying area is 132.8 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 24% higher than the claimed 113 degrees Fahrenheit. It's no surprise that the mops dry quickly. In just 1.5 to 2 hours, they are completely dry. To wrap things up, the Roborock Q Revo Pro is a worthy successor to the series. The retractable mop really makes a difference. The blind spot is 0. Moreover, it now even removes stuck grease. The actual reduction in power hasn't significantly impacted the cleaning quality. It's still top-notch and active. It cleans carpets even better. Waste disposal works like a charm, but I expected more from the mop rinsing, especially with the heated water feature. It's an excellent choice for an apartment with a large dog and mixed flooring. Thanks for watching until the end and hitting the like button. That's all from me. Goodbye and see you in the next reviews.